All right, welcome back. This is the Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, Ibadan. And this is big story. Governance in Nigeria remains one of the most debated and scrutinized aspects of the country's socio-political landscape. Since gaining independence in 1960, Nigeria has experienced various forms of governance, ranging from military dictatorships to democratic rule. Despite being rich in natural and human resources, the country struggles with systemic issues such as corruption, weak institutions, poor public service delivery, and socio-economic inequality. At the heart of Nigeria's governance challenges is a complex interplay between political leadership, institutional capacity, ethnic and regional dynamics, and public accountability. From the First Republic to the present Fourth Republic, Nigeria's journey reveals quite a number of things. A lot of things are going on in the space, and a lot of persons are asking the question, 65 years after independence, can we still blame our wars, our struggles on colonialism? And of course, many years after the shift from military regime to democracy, can we blame some of the struggles that Nigeria is facing currently on the military regime? A lot of these we are going to talk about this morning. And of course, I have my guest with me this morning in the studio is going to help us make sense of some of these issues that we are talking about. And do not forget, the topic for today is governance in Nigeria. And this morning, I have my guest with me in the studio, just like I said, is going to help us make sense of some of the story this morning. I'm talking about Honorable Omolaja Olaoye, who is a public affairs analyst and APC stalwart. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning to you. Thank you for having me here.
It's nice to have you this morning.
Good morning to you at home.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let's take it from this place. Just like I said when I was introducing the topic, a lot of persons have said that, perhaps it's the colonial, activities in Nigeria that have led to, the series of issues that we have going on in the country. Do you agree with this, view, or you have a counter opinion on this?
Thank you very much. People ask whether the colonialism is a cause of a blessing. I would say it's a blessing on so many aspects, but our problem is dynamic. Our problem has to do with our traditional ways of life, or probably the way we always try to worship probably people that has money in the society. Even ethnicity is part of it as well. The religion contributes to a lot of demerit in these our systematic ways of life in Nigeria. I will not say particularly colonialism, because they taught us a lot of things. Corruption is not part of it. So it can be the colonialism.
What about the concept of divide and rule? Because I recall that, that has actually affected, our ethnic, our culture as a person, because at some point these people had to adopt that, to actually gain momentum and consolidate on their power in Nigeria.
Oh, thank you very much. You see, when you are talking about divide and rule, divide and rule has been a kind of monarchical ways of life. You're really going to talk about Yoruba, which is being governed by monarchical system. You are talking about the northern part is a kind of is monarchical system in a way, but with use of emir, they have authority over their people. When you are talking about the eastern part, which is good, they have cultural ways. It is only people that has money that is control the society. So in a way, I don't want us to be burdening a lot of things on the colonialism, because the way we want it is the way they give us our independence. It might be systematical in a way. They came for a business, and when they came for a business, they see the way to rule, and they rule us in a way that is going to open our eyes. We are not talking about what we now use to hear our view. If it's not colonial master, we might be living in a cave. So they have a lot of merit. Divide and rule is part of life. It's politics. And politics is in our home, is in the church, is in the mosque. When you're talking about divide and rule, because when you are talking about leadership is they are going to be able to x-ray you individually.
Okay.
They are going to see your weakness. If they can use it against somebody else. So divide and rule is part of life. Colonial mentality is a way, probably we want to adopt their system more than our system. That is when you are talking about religion. And when they burden us with religion, they just want us to do a certain things that is going to be beneficial to the society. But we have taken it in another way entirely. Colonialism has its own demerit, but we cannot blame them entirely to our faulty system of governance.
Okay, talking about system, because you mentioned that, and then I think Professor UI once said that if the best president in the world should come to Nigeria and rule, he might fail. Looking at the system and the structure. So I want to take you back, because a certain man, the late Obafemi Awolowo, said that if you adopt a foreign system of government and you don't domesticate, there'll be issues. I'm speaking of the presidential system of government that we now want. Do you think we have failed to actually domesticate that system to favor us?
Thank you very much. I pondered on this.
Okay.
Just a few days ago. And I was able to stumble on this same system you said in one of the posts a brother of mine posted on his Facebook handle, talking about how you are talking about the system in our society, how people, it has to do with impunity. There is law, there are laws that need to govern us. There are laws in which a lot of our law, our law guru doesn't even let us know. You see, we are being governed by a unitary system of government. United Kingdom is still using, a kind of unwritten constitution. Still, their society is well governed. We imbibe on written constitution. Our ways of life doesn't change. Because every aspect, everything we did wrong is being guided by law. But we are talking about impunity. What are the police doing? What about our law enforcement agency? What about when somebody offended, you are going to see, our people who are well known in the society, they're going to be going begging and look for. See what happened in the First Republic. A lot of those who were corrupted were being hailed by different society, different group, different ethnic group, because they will say, "It is our money. Let them steal it." You are talking about corruption. See, when we are having Midwest, when we are having Western region, when we are having Northern region, you can see the progression according to different region. Because this has to do with exposures. So, I will tell you, before the colonial master left the soil, there are laws that are guiding our society. But because of our impunity, that is why we make wrong of a lot of things. You said something about probably if you see a president, it was said, I remember, it was on platform when that was 2019 or 2020. Reverend Kuka said, if President Obama came to Nigeria, he's going to fail. Because our system is not well guided. We are talking about impunity. If you steal, there are laws that is going to penalize you when you steal. We have seen a president that said stealing is not corruption. Don't you think that is ignorant? When you say stealing is not corruption.
There are some countries in this world, when you steal, they automatically, execute you. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, you are talking about the communist system. That is not allowed. You punish people in order for them not to do things that are wrong. We have seen in Switzerland whereby a lot of their prison has been closed because people don't offend anymore. And you see places like United States of America whereby there are private prison whereby a lot of people are. In Nigeria, we build churches and mosques. We don't build prison. When you're talking about your state, when you are talking about Ablongo prison, probably has been built more than 70, 80 years ago. You are talking about Daguri prison, which is more than 100 years ago. We are not being up to standard the way it must be done. And these are the prisons that are being built by colonial masters. We believe that when you go to church, when you go to mosque, when you do anything wrong, God is going to forgive you. And the society are suffering. That is the things you have to know about the society, that there are a lot of things that is wrong until we follow the law accordingly, and our judicial system are working up to standard. That is when we can be able to get it right. Anybody that offended must be punished accordingly.
Okay, speaking of, the judiciary system, we have separation of powers whereby all these judges work independently. Do you think the judiciary is independent in Nigeria as we speak?
They do, of course. They do, of course. But a lot of men have been intimidated with what is going on in society. They want to live up to standard. They talk about on beneficiary salary. I don't know how much they can be giving to all the judicial workers that can be able to satisfy them in a way. But what about when you are talking about integrity? You have seen it is this same Nigeria that you see a judge that can send somebody to prison because it's still a foul, and you see a judge who dollars were found on their apartment, who has questionable property that has never been in prison. We have never seen any judges being in prison in Nigeria, and it wasn't like that with our colonial master. You are talking about UK, somebody that solicits for sex is going to be jailed. The same thing when you are corrupt in America, you are going to be jailed as well. But in Nigeria, I've never seen any judge that has been sent to prison. There was a time a lot of money was found in a lot of judges' home during the time of probably 2020, 2021. None of them has been penalized today. There was a judge, Rosary, I've forgotten her name, who was found wanting, and he was suspended and expunged from the bar. Of recent, all her entitlements was restored back to her. It doesn't serve as deterrent to others who are doing something that is wrong. We have seen a judge that slapped somebody. That's an assault.
We've also seen cases whereby, when issues come up, that person will tell you, take the matter to court, because they know that when you get to court, you have people there that will handle the situation for them. So how well is government, trying to actually curb the excesses of these judges, just like you've explained?
Thank you very much. They have done a lot, but they want them as well. But now we are talking about they are the one that can do the job. They have the mandate to send people to prison. They have the mandate to punish people accordingly. But by the time they gang up, what do you think? That is where the problem lies now. And I think it is our lawmaker that need to do what is necessary in order to tighten more, to make more law, to be able to be punishing all the judiciary who find wanting at any point in time. That is the problem we have. The police are not doing accordingly. They can shoot anybody at any point in time, and they are the one that is going to take any matter to what PPP, probably public, those who are going to facilitate you being taken to the court. So all of them, this is the burden of the society. We talk about the politician all the time. We don't talk about the judiciary, and we don't talk about the police. We talk about the police because the time of EndSARS, they have never learned. Since then, again, you have seen a lot of stop and search. What make EndSARS to come, and this is what the police are doing again.
Okay, let's talk about corruption. Now, you mentioned it while you were explaining. A lot of, analysts and scholars have linked corruption, to the time of the military, regime, the heads of state, the decrees, the proclamation, So, do you agree with the fact that, corruption actually, came into Nigeria during the military regime, or it has been in existence before that, or maybe shortly after we transitioned into the democratic system of government? Because I recall that, when, the former President Buhari was campaigning, tackling corruption was part of his manifesto, and a lot of critics have come out to say that did he really actually tackle corruption? And I also want to link this to EFCC, because recently, I don't know, there was a time that the chairman of EFCC said that if it doesn't prosecute Yahya Bello, that's the former governor, that is going to resign. We've not seen anything like that. As a matter of fact, we see Yahya Bello come out in the public, attend meetings and the likes. What do you make of all of this?
Oh, thank you very much. Where the corruption starts, it is even difficult to know how you are going to come about it, because corruption has started. It has been a system for a very long time. But the fact still remains that when we transited to democracy, our own self-made government, that is when it started to be manifesting very seriously.
But during the military regime, there were claims that some of these heads of state, their regime was characterized with serious corruption, embezzlement of.
You have to know that it started. That was during the Shagari regime when we have the Second Republic.
79.
That is when 78, 79. That is when it really started. Because you have seen that. Why do you think the military take over from the same civilian government, if not because of corruption? Because that is what the base is upon. So the corruption really transits to another form during the time of Babangida, because you have seen a lot of how the politicians wasted money there, how you can see cars flying around, people travel everywhere. You see, the corruption really manifested.
The Abacha loot also. I mean,
yes,
from time to time we get money.
That's what I'm saying. It started really from Babangida regime. But Babangida, like you are talking about divide and rule, he used divide and rule and was able to govern for like 8 years. He was successful. But when you are talking about Abacha is just looting it anyhow, because nobody is going to be able to blame him. But at the end of the day, that is the result of looting and corruption is that it is going to get you at any point in time. Now you are now talking about Yahoo below. Justice system is very slow, but it goes. When you see all these governors after they left office, you think they are not going to be facing a lot of very hard tax. They go to law court all the time. They are being tried. You heard about Odili, that it was perpetual injunction was placed upon his being tried or even investigated by the police, by Efcc. Now during this regime, it has been lifted. They can be able to try Odili again, because corruption is going to be pursuing you. You are talking about Yahya Bello. Yes, Yahya Bello is still facing court, and his public engagement has been reduced because he has been labeled. I sometimes I'm delighted because when Ojiso Kelly was granted interview, he said before he was convicted, he has been facing EFCC for more than 12 years. Do you know how hard it's going to take them to be facing EFCC and be going to court every month? It is not going to be an easy task. And some of them, when they lose guard, they are going to be sent to prison just like that. We are seeing about 3 governors, including it is only Odiuso Kalu that came out of it. That his conviction was reverted. 2 of them are in jail. So for you to know that no matter what you do, and we have seen a lot of governors that are being investigated even in office. And a lot of them go to court. They are going to tell judiciary to stop EFCC from investigating them. That is why I said, for this country to get back on their track, judiciary has a lot of work to do. Because none of them can go scot-free with the money. It is going to be infinity. So now, and when you are talking about EFCC, it is advice of United States of government that made the government to create EFCC, because they knew a lot of our law are obsolete, and if a lot of things is being burdened with the police, we are not going to get anything done. That is why they separate them. Okay,
still speaking about EFCC, if we look at the track record of people who have held that position, you see, look at the case of Bawa, you look at some other past chairman of that organization, of that body. Do you still think that office should be based on appointment? Looking at some of the loopholes that we have, looking at the serious issues that we have experienced concerning the EFCC. A lot of Nigerians, if you check X, family Twitter, they will say, what is the real sense of EFCC? They only go after Yahoo boys, majorly, and then they leave these corrupt politicians with cases alone.
I don't believe that. I believe that when you are talking about the number of these Yahoo boys compared with the politicians, you are going to know they are in greater numbers. All the politicians in Nigeria cannot be even up to probably about 60,000 altogether, even 70,000. But when you are talking about Yahoo boys, they are all over the world. They can be more than 2-3 million. So they need to be, because in order to save the face of Nigeria, they need to be punished as well. But now, talking about the EFCC, talking about the appointment.
Okay.
You see, there is no organization or no anybody can be able to be absolute. Somebody cannot be sent from the heavens just to edit.
Okay.
We're talking about our religion, our house of religion. They're supposed to be preaching goodness. They're supposed to be preaching sanity in the polity. What are they doing? They are even more corrupt than all these appointed EFCC chairman. And when you are talking about, no matter how you are, if you are appointed or even you are elected, once you are in the eyes of the world, you are going to be excluded. All your activity is not well to the people. So the appointment is even much better because it's going to reflect on the leader that appointed them or whatever the leader wanted. So now we are not talking about, you are talking about the police as civil service. They went through a process and they have been there for long. And when the investigation of the corrupt officers are under them, it fails woefully. Those are the police we are talking about. Just imagine EFCC is now going to be under civil service. We are not going to get any headway. But appointment being made is going to reflect on the leader that appointed that EFCC chairman. If you want the corruption to work, it depends on him. If he doesn't want, so I think that appointment is not even better than EFCC being under the civil service. So
you don't think that appointment will make the person to be subject to the dictate of the person who appointed him at any point in time?
That's what I'm saying. I said it's going to reflect on whatever he wanted, and that is even more better than when we have a moribund civil service who are not doing anything.
Is that not affecting our judiciary system? Is that not affecting corruption? Is that not increasing the rate of corruption in the country?
It is not. It places more burden on this, whether judiciary or wherever, or even the police, to do things accordingly. Because when it is under them, that's what I'm saying. When all this, because SMU probably EFCC is one of the part of police. If you don't know, and they are not working, they are not doing anything. They are even more corrupt.
It's part of the system, the systemic failure.
That's what I'm saying. But with the appointment of EFCC chairman, it's going to reflect on the leader that appointed it. If the leader wants the corruption to be stopped, the man is going to sit up. And if he doesn't want, it is going to be the way it's going to be. It is going to be, they are still going to be doing the same thing. But now, that is when you see, I gave you example of what's it called? The former governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili, there was a perpetual injunction of him not being investigated by EFCC, and it has been lifted by this government. That means anything he has done in the past, it is going to be reviewed in this course. So that means this one, if it's serious, we are going to know with the course of time.
Okay, let's talk about leadership now, because you just mentioned that it depends on the leader or the political head whether he wants to stop corruption or not. And because, a lot of persons have come out to say that, one of the big problems that Nigeria is facing today is the issue of leadership. Because if you look at, some other countries that are not even as, many as Nigeria, look at Ghana, for instance, in terms of population. Ghana got, our independence in 1957, and it was even a sort of inspiration to Nigerians to say, okay, let us mobilize and get, this independence. Look at how Ghana is doing compared to Nigeria. In terms of resources, do we not have more resources compared to Ghana? Apart from the natural resources, we also have the human resources. You see, Nigeria as a country, despite our hydra-headed problems, we have the brilliant minds. If you see Nigerians step out of this country, they head organizations abroad, they become CMDs, they top their classes. So what do you make of the leadership of this country? Let's even leave Africa, because a lot of persons have said that Africa has a lot of issues. Let's go outside of Africa and then step into some of this country. Japan is 70% rocky area, but look at what the leaders are doing. Take a look at what Lee Kuan Yew did with his country. What do you make of the leadership of this country? Because they come up with a manifesto, and a few years into administration, we do not see things that actually align with those manifestos.
Thank you very much. I would say we are still learning, and I will tell you that comparing Nigeria with Japan, comparing Nigeria with Ghana, is really unfair.
How?
Because we have different ethnic group more than any other African country, more than any other place in the world.
But that should be a blessing.
I have just said it can be a cause sometimes.
That is if it is not properly handled.
Yes, that's it. And it gives us room to learn as well. Now you're not talking about all the ethnic groups are fighting to be at head. Even when you're at head, they are going to be causing different kind of problem for you. But still, we are transiting to better place, because I will tell you Nigeria is not regressing. Nigeria is getting better, whether you like it or not. Because with the advent of electronic system, things are getting sanitized, whether you like it or not.
What about insecurity? Take a look at what happened in Benue State and Plateau State, Kano and Kaduna.
It has been a tradition for a very long time. Problem in Benue State doesn't start yesterday or the day before yesterday. It has been there for more than 20, 30, 40 years.
At what point are we going to solve the problem?
Yes. Now, when some people were killed in Wadata, which is very sad, we have never, when the arrests were now made, nobody make publicity of it anymore, because these people are not ghosts, and our security agency, who are so dormant before, has been woken up to live up to their responsibility, and a lot of them are doing that. And when you are talking about security, it depends on the society. Take, for instance, when you are talking about the Southwest, if you want to rent a house, look at the kind of law they are going to give to you. And mind you, people are extraining you when you are in that area. That is why you have a lot of vigilante, because in the Southwest, we have been, I would tell you categorically, that 80% of the police posts has been built by the community. And a lot of them has been funded as well by the community. They will buy chair, they will buy generator, they will buy different kind of thing in order to make them comfortable. Is it the way it was in the Southeast? It is the way it was in the South-South. Is it the way is the North, Northwest, Northeast, North? It is different. So now, security are the watchword of each society and community. The government at the center are not stupid. They make sure that they budgeted security vote for the state and the local government. But nobody asks about the state and the local government, about their responsibility. We all talk about the federal all the time, because they knew that security is the watchword of everybody. That is what we must do.
Well, don't you think people actually refer these cases to the federal because of the term called accountability? I mean, it's a democratic system.
It shouldn't be.
Okay, why?
It shouldn't be.
Why?
I will tell you, there was a time there was a problem in our state.
Okay.
And it goes for a very long time. The federal are not, because this is PDB, this is APC, this is that. They said to be rambling, thinking that the federal doesn't know what they are doing. And the state governor went to the federal to see the then president Muhammadu Buhari. What they discussed. The man, when he came home, he doesn't even, because they've seen the security report, that the money of a security vote is not well spent. They are not making use of what they are not giving the local government the power they deserve and what they're supposed to do.
Okay, you are saying.
And since then, we have never had about any other security challenge in our state again.
Okay, whose responsibility is it to actually tackle these issues if the local government and the state governors are not using the resources at their disposal to tackle insecurity? I mean, who should
tell me, because they have immunity, who is going to prosecute them? It is after they leave office that they are going to be prosecuted.
At the expense of the lives of Nigerians.
There is nothing. The constitution, that is what the constitution says. And because of other probably opposition, that is why they don't want to. What they have intention is that they don't want to burden all the governors to be facing different of challenges when you are talking about the court cases. That is why they give them immunity. But they are misusing that immunity now. And this is why the society have to talk much about it. We are going to provide solution to that. Or probably with time, we are going to have people of integrity that are going to be voted for. But what about our people? They vote on sentiment as well. They don't want to extract all the accordingly and what they have done. They just want to believe that probably you are a Christian, probably you are Muslim, probably you are gentle, probably you are talking too much. That is what they are going to use to judge their vote into power. And I think we must hold the responsibility and face any challenges we see after that.
Okay, I think we can actually end this here. Let's talk about the electoral system. You said it's the responsibility of the people to actually vote the right persons into office. You know, elections over years, you know, have been marked by, you know, violence, you know, vote buying. The last Ondo election, we saw videos of people, you know, saying that we've collected money and we voted. I mean, and that's not actually, you know, limited to Ondo State. You know, we've seen cases like that even across the state, you know, in Nigeria. How do we actually curb these excesses of vote buying? Can vote buying even be curbed at all? How do we curb this? How do we reduce the issues of violence, you know, during election period? Because a lot of people have said that they will not come out to vote because they cannot risk their lives, you know, for Nigeria or just to come and vote for someone. They would rather stay indoors to vote. I
think that is lame excuse for people to be saying that. We go out every day, we see a lot of challenges. We ride on Okada, we ride on cars, accidents happen, this and that. And when you are talking about voting, you don't vote, you don't live in a regular local government and go and vote in Irua. You vote within the community you are.
But people are even being attacked in their community.
I am just saying. Now, we are not talking about the vote buy. That's why I say Nigeria is progressing. It's not regressing. If you have experience, when you are talking about the violence when it's come to election, I have been at a polling unit and people have been driven away and all our ballot papers and ballot boxes were taken at the gunpoint and they are voting in our presence and nobody can do anything.
It happened recently in the 2023 elections. In some places.
In Southwest, it doesn't happen in
and
Southwest.
Maybe not Southwest.
When you are talking about vote buying, that's what I'm saying, it is progressive. I might give you money, you might not vote for me, nobody's going to kill you. The community are so desperate to this extent that if you do in some polling unit, they are going to tear you apart because people want to vote according to their conscience and they are not ready for anybody to jeopardize that. People, I'm telling you sincerely, you cannot buy the conscience of the people. A lot of people that do vote buy are just wasting their money.
But people actually vote after collecting money. We saw the videos.
I am just saying to you that a lot of them are wasting their money. How many people can you buy? How much they can use to buy you if you want to vote? That is the real sense of it. But they are paying 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. How much is? I am telling you, a lot of people take that money on the field and they are not going to vote for you.
Now talk about weaponized poverty.
They will take. Forget about poverty.
Okay, but that's the reason why some people engage in vote buying.
You can see what happened in the United States of America during the time of Trump. This man, what's it called? This guru, ex-guru, I've forgotten his name. He wanted to buy. He was telling the people that if you register, he is doing the kind of lottery, and they made him to realize that. That is when we knew that in American Constitution, it is illegal, it is criminal to buy votes. That means they have been doing it before. Now, they are now making the law. But I knew a lot of people that are doing that vote buy, that were just wasting their time and money because they will collect it from different parties. On the field, they will collect it from different parties. And you had lost.
The case of IS bidder.
IS bidder. So at the end of the day, you are going to lose. That is why you need your integrity in order for people to elect you into office. But people elect a lot of people based on sentiment.
Okay, let's talk about this very quickly. You know, let's talk about political culture because according to G.A. Ahmad and S. Vaba, he said political culture is the pattern of individuals' belief, ideas, and orientation towards politics. Looking at how a lot of Nigerians react to politics, I've interviewed some persons, during an election because most times I'm on duty, and then this person said that, you know, he's not going to come out to vote because of the choice put out by the political parties. Let's talk about that. Very quickly.
Thank you very much. That is why we need reformation in our electoral reform.
Okay.
Compared to United States, where we copied this, it wasn't like that. Because it was when vote is about to be voted in, and the political elite doesn't like it, and the politician doesn't like it. It is the power given to people to go and register at any point in time. You can change your party. So it is people that elected, because that is when we are talking about direct primary.
Yes.
That is what a lot of party lacks up, and that is what making our society to be burdened and to be unnecessary. For things not to work. If people can, in our conscience, it was well stated, embedded, that any primary must be done directly, not indirect. Not by selecting some kind of individual who has gone to I agree with that as well. But that is what we have at the moment. That is why we have to cry and force our legislator to make sure they make the law. They are scared because a lot of them want to be there for life. If election can be done, if the primary can be done whereby the people can be elected direct, not by certain individual being elected, selected. You know, Erifai said that sometimes ago. That is what is the problem we have at the moment. Recently, if that can be done, I think there's going to be sanity.
Recently, the former, governorship candidate, of Lagos State, that's Jandor, he used to be in PDP, and then he came out to say that, it is only in PDP he sees situations whereby, the people will come out to declare someone as the flag bearer of the party, whereas, at the back they are doing something else or they will support someone else. What do you make of that?
I think Jandor is just a comedian.
Really?
It's so comedic. Yes.
There's no sense in that.
Because there is sense in it.
Okay.
But what has he done? Now, his deputy governor was not being given to him by the party. He was the one that selected. And mind you are not the one that is going to go and go to people to woo them to vote for your party. You must carry the party along. Party stalwart. You must make sure people you select is going to be in tandem with their liking. And that is what happened. He's being authoritarian. And being authoritarian, people are going to leave you and vote for somebody else. That is for you to know that our political system anywhere in the world is so complex. You must make sure your reflection of the way you behave is in tandem with the party stalwart. If you don't do that, they will just leave you.
All right, a big thanks to you, Honorable Molaja Olaoye, public affairs analyst and APC stalwart. Thank you for being a part of this program. You have been able to profile some solutions. However, we do hope that some of these things can be looked into so that we can have a better society. All right, we've come to the end of this segment. Just before I go, we cannot continue to blame the colonial masters. We cannot continue to blame the military regime for our woes. It's time to actually start working, and have a possible society. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. The conversation continues. Thank you for being a part of this segment. Thank you.